All right, folks, welcome to Fluff Tube Edition. I just got off on another segment with Juanito talking about panic and interference. We all know what's happening right now with the interference with Mr. T. It's crazy. And we feel, as I discussed with Juanito, that no effect. It's just he's gonna keep moving forward like a train, like a freight train, and it's not going to work out too well. These people are panicking and panicking big time, which we're going to discuss a little bit on here on FluffTube about the panic, about events that could come. We're going to be very vague. If you want to get the meat and bones, you know where to go. Folks, get your noble gold. Get your noble gold. Gold has gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years. It is happening. Central banks are ditching the dollar and U.S. Treasury and buying more gold. The good news, it is predicted to go up even more. UBS even said it would go up to 5,000. Noble Gold Investments phone has been ringing off the hook. Everyone wants to protect their retirement with gold. You can do the same. And if you do it this month, the Noble Gold Investments will give you a free 1/4 ounce gold standard coin if you open a qualified account. Go to noblegoldinvestments.com now. Noble Gold Investments, folks, get started. Juanito, can you hear me? Juanito.
Well, hey, hold on a second. Let me just pay homage to your advertiser by telling you something that just happened. Last week, because of events that were occurring in New York and other places, and then something that just happened in the last few hours, I had a friend that's fairly well-to-do who wanted to buy multiple millions of gold. And so I gave a referral to someone that I thought would probably be able to do what he wanted to do. And there were some specific intricacies that were needed to be followed in order to do the transaction he wanted. And he also wanted silver, significant amount of silver. And so we were talking about, he already has quite a bit vaulted in a couple different countries. And so we were talking about it. I says, well, we've talked about this before. You didn't do this when I said you should have done this, a year or two ago. And he says, no, I did it then. I'm doubling down. This is getting crazy. Do you realize? He starts giving me the litany of all the stuff that we talk about. And he's like, yeah, his attorney told him, do it now.
Yeah, it's getting insane.
Well, I mean, this is not just anybody. This is somebody that is a pretty sophisticated person. But part of the problem was the places that he purchased previously, they had upped the prices so much, including the dealer fees and like that, where he wanted physical, not just paper or whatever. And there were some very specific things that had to be done. And the people that he dealt with before weren't able to pull it off, quickly enough and satisfactorily enough. So that tells you the pressure is starting to come on. And then, for example, in Asia, you go in and out of the countries, they don't ask if you got cash. They ask if you got gold.
That's crazy.
How much gold do you have on you? Are you trying to transport gold?
Well, Juan, let's talk about this for a second. And folks, you could also go to 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏.com, 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, and get yourself a silver coin there and some jackets and stuff like that.
Got a couple of them. Those are fun. Yeah.
Look, I'm watching De Niro. I'm watching Maxine Waters. I'm watching Julia Roberts. I'm paying attention to the celebrity world more now than ever because I'm kind of pivoting on that in my YouTube channel, and I'm seeing Bill Maher. I mean, I'm just seeing panic. Like, they are nervous, Juanito. I mean, but everything that's happening with like P. Diddy and the scandals, is that all a distraction? What is this? What are we looking at here? Exactly? I want you to clarify this.
Yeah, let me just say it this way. It's not a distraction. That's real stuff that's been needing to be dealt with for a long time. We've had multiple people out of Hollywood that have talked about some of these things, for a very long time, including some of those specific players where they were trying to bait people into compromised situations, offering the moon. You just do this little thing here, there, and we'll give you the moon. And the ones that we've dealt with have not taken the bait, taken the deal, right? But there's others out there that have been very public about what they did. In fact, somebody asked me, I don't know if I want to give away the exact details because I don't know if it would be appropriate, but there was a particular interview that happened, and somebody intoned that they had been approached, and that it was really, really influential people who had approached them about what they were saying, and that they just disappeared. They went off the radar because it spooked them.
Yeah.
And that it was, it was the kind of thing where they were looking over their shoulder. Am I going to get whacked if I don't do what, asked for? And so behind the scenes, I was like, oh, that sounds like so-and-so. Because I recall the story, that wasn't somebody out of Hollywood that came and talked to him. That was somebody out of the political world. And they, put a very hard press and lean on this person. They weren't worried about, a hitman for one of the movie studios, or, Chinese that run the CAA, the Artist Academy. They were worried about, military type guys showing up from one of the federal agencies or something,
And I appreciate you being very vague, Juan. I know you are. I know that's hard for you to do, but
well, and I just got to tell you, that was not an idle threat. When you get somebody of that type that comes to you and says, we got drones with your name on it. Are you listening? They actually do have drones that might have their name on it. So, this is getting very serious.
It's ratcheting up. It's ratcheting up. You could see the panic. You could see the fear. When I saw De Niro, talking about Trump, I was like, oh man, this guy's really worried. Bill Maher.
Do you remember when 𝗬𝗶𝗱𝗏 did the roast or whatever at the Golden Globe?
The awards.
Right. I think it was Golden Globe, but might have been Academy. I can't remember. And he was just brutal. And some of the people in the audience, man, they weren't laughing.
Why are these celebrities? Why are certain celebrities getting brave, Juanito? Because there's nothing in it for them unless they're getting pulled aside and said, listen, this is what's happening. We need you to cooperate. And like the good guys are pulling them aside. That's what I think is happening.
No. I don't think that's. I actually talked. I have friends in those circles, so I had a talk with one of them. I think it's been almost 3 weeks now ago, and before things even got to the levels they're at now. And he was trying to get some advice about his situation, and the thing he kept saying, but you don't understand, man. They got the tapes. They got the tapes, man. The tapes are coming out. I'm in those tapes. I've got it. I can't just I gotta say something. I gotta explain myself because they got the tapes, man. Everybody's releasing tapes. Oh, jeez. I mean, I'm trying to talk him out of the tree. Okay, relax. I'm getting a ladder. Just don't move. I'm coming up with a ladder. I'll help you down. And he's holding it upside down to the tree branch. But think about that, Nino. These are tapes. This is somebody that is I don't want to say too much, but he is not.
I'm glad we did the Nino's Corner.tv first, because I know if we don't get it all out, you mess up quite a bit for FluffTube.
I had to practice.
Glad we got all that out.
at the end of the day, this person is not the kind of person that the videotape would portray. He did what he did at an earlier age, and the understanding was, this is what you got to do to be in the club.
Is there any truth? Is there any truth to the Bernie Sanders stuff that's going around right now?
I don't know if I've heard any.
Well, that a young, that he
I don't know. I don't know anything on that.
A young person, and they had tapes on it or something. Now that's allegedly. I've heard this from a few people. I don't know if that's true. Do you know anything about this one, though?
I don't know anything about that, but there's lots of stuff out there. It's moving so fast. I think that's part of the whole point. Think about this. We've got the guys on videotape talking about doing stuff that changed the course of America. And I won't say anything more than that, but I talked about it back in your thing, several years ago. And we want to be able to have this stay up on 𝗫𝗏𝗶. So in that's like nuclear bombs in any other media universe that we've grown up in. It's the level of shock to hear that to any other generation of Americans would it just stop everything. But right now it's not really, it's being dealt with as though, oh yeah, well, maybe we should have a congressional investigation and maybe someday it'll be in the history books what actually happened. And, so I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. If they do federal subpoenas, congressional subpoenas, ooh, what would that do? If Americans are, they've been toned down so much.
Juanito,
but, well, let me just say this, Nino, but somewhere in here, it's going to get traction. It is, especially with something that just happened. I mentioned on the other channel with some people that had to take refuge in an embassy, and we'll see how that plays out. And I don't want to give any more details than that because I don't think it's in the public's knowledge. Probably will be in the next few hours. But the reason I say that, Nino, before we just kind of rock it on.
Yeah, be careful because I know we already talked about this on .tv,
yeah,
and I don't want to talk about this here.
Okay, so at the end of the day, though, if somebody has a choice that's pulling the levers behind the strings or behind the scenes, do they flush the life and career of a few Hollywood celebrities in order to put the fishing lure, the red herring out there to pull the public's attention away like magicians that they are, the Merlins that they are, to keep our attention on circuses and swimming pool parties with nudity, all the titillating action, so that we don't look at the things that actually would affect.
That's what's happening right now. That's what I think all of this is. Yeah.
So, but I don't think that it's wrong. These things should be exposed, but there's a certain amount of time it takes to have it get out into the public and blow up big enough. So by design, did somebody release a tape, file a action, get the ball rolling, knowing it takes a certain amount of time to start building this up as a big distraction for society? That's not completely inconceivable. Then again, if something came up and people just need something to take stuff off point, hey, cover that, not this. In fact,
yes,
smoke and mirrors, not this.
Look at this hand, not that hand.
Keep it blowing. And the only thing I would say, though, also, Nino, is that those people, just like the person I just mentioned to you, they're trying to protect their families, their other relationships, their history, their brand. There's a lot at stake for them. And if it's going to come out, do they get ahead of it so it becomes a race? You know, in criminal stuff, you know, a whistleblower world, the first ones to get to the cops or whatever, they get the best deals. So if you're coming out and telling your side of the story early and playing the victim card, you might stand a better chance of surviving within your career or even criminality. You know, the one thing that was very disturbing.
So celebrities are snitching on each other.
Well, the one thing that was very disturbing in this conversation I had the other day, they said, yeah, but it's not, this person is not the person portrayed in the videos. He was doing it for a reason, but he said, you know, I did some stuff besides having stuff done to me, that if that comes out, I could be going to jail. And he was, you know, looking for some life preserver. You know, at some level, it's going to be brutal because there's even some people that you want to understand are in a victim situation, but you know, there's lines that they could cross over that you got to take that one. You can't, you know, there's no unwinding that. And so now you've got guys that are sitting on the bubble hoping that something isn't clear. It's not, you know, going to get released. It gets lost in the pile. And even if it does get released, it gets released later and not earlier. And so who's the ones that get sacrificed, you know, in this whole thing, get their careers taken out because they're not in the right location? Look, you know, with everything
I've heard a lot of celebrities say that they just want to be part of the new consciousness, and they do feel like Hollywood's going to go a different route when all this dust settles.
Well, look at all the guys that are looking for new places to put their studios. Atlanta, Texas, New Mexico is big up there. Some of the northwestern states.
Yeah, Albuquerque and Santa Fe are huge.
Right, and so they're literally Hollywood is being fractured. You'll have a diaspora of actors. The other side of the coin is that all those things being vacated, you'll have openings for a new crowd. One of my friends who's an agent there moved cross country, left Hollywood. You know, I tease him about be Lot, don't be Lot's wife. You know, in the Bible story where Lot's wife looked back and she turned to salt, right? You know, leave and don't look back. And he left and he went to Florida. I mean, there's not much further you can go after leaving.
Yeah. Juan, hold on 1 second. I'm going to do a mid-roll here, and then I want to talk to you about Trump's cartels. He's going after the cartels in Mexico. I want to get into that. All right, folks. If you suffer from daily pain, I need you to listen to this message very carefully. What we know about pain relief is changing forever. As we age, aches and pains are normal, and we are all searching for effective ways to relieve the pain. And safety is more important than ever. Let's be frank, we all seen the horrors of the opiate crisis. You may even have been affected personally. And that's where a pioneering medical scientist come in, Clint Winters. You may have seen this world-renowned health expert featured in the national media as he's unveiled a natural pain reliever that I'm taking myself, folks, that is taking the world by storm. Yes, I'm talking about Phenolidine, a 100% drug-free way to get full-body pain relief without the dangerous meds. As you read this, Phenolidine has become the go-to pain reliever for hundreds of thousands of professional athletes, tens of thousands of seniors, and the official pain reliever choice of the UFC, folks. Clint explains how Phenolidine, and I did an interview with this guy, is the only compound on earth that optimizes your body's natural painkillers called endorphins at any age. When taken daily, your body will get back to relieving pain like you were in your prime in no time. And let me tell you, I was skeptical, but it works. I have tried virtually everything, and I have not felt this great in years, and I'm being serious about this one. Phenolidine has no documented side effects, none, after years in private testing. Hear me when I say this, Phenolidine is absolutely the future of pain relief. So whatever you do, Make sure you click on the link below and check out Clint's amazingly informative report on how 𝗀𝗃𝗃 is changing lives by providing safe and powerful relief at 1/10 the cost of pain pills. I did a huge interview on this, folks. Get over there, hit the link down below, and get started on some 𝗀𝗃𝗃. All right, Juan. So Trump has said.
Well, hold on. I might have to get some of that stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I have a once in a while I get I have some stuff that had to be repaired in my back and shoulder from something that happened years ago, and so
no, it's
amazing.
great.
I usually have the problem in my left shoulder, but sometimes I compensate for it and I'll stress stuff on the right side of the back, and I did that somewhere here in the last few days, and it's been like it's one of those things where
Juan, you got to watch the video I did with him. He talks about how.
Okay, I will. That's we'll give it a try and see.
No, it's amazing. I've been taking it, and I've my relief is. I used to be at a 9 with all the stuff that I'm taking right now. I'm at like a 1 or a 2. I've never felt so good, man. And I feel emotionally really good, but I tell everybody, you got to stop all the other garbage too. You can't be taking all the other crap you're taking. So I feel like you got to get clean first. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't even take aspirin really. It's an extreme rare time when I'll take something. I just not wired that way. I'll take the pain over the other while I'm trying to get stuff straightened back out or whatever. And it's just muscle stuff for me at this point. The structural
I
stuff
get an emotional uplift from stuff, so because it makes my receptor sites are now taking in my endorphins. There's a scavenger receptor site that steals all the endorphins. You know that as you get older.
Oh, so there's other thieves are out there now. They're not just stealing the electronic world; they're stealing in the endorphin.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we gotta. I gotta do that. Remember you probably don't. You're too young. There was a great movie, sci-fi movie, and it was this voyage where they shrink a ship down, a submarine down to a real tiny size, and they inject it in the guy's bloodstream to go into the guy's
Dennis Quaid. That was called Little or something like that, or Small.
No, not
yes,
not
I know
one.
you're talking about. Dennis Quaid was the actor.
No, this was way before that. This is like in the mid '60s, early '60s. I remember
they did a remake of it. They did a remake of it.
I remember walking to the movie theater and going in to see that in the matinee movie on a Saturday afternoon. And thought it was amazing. I got to remember what the movie was.
I think it was called Small or something like that. Or
that was a later one. And I love Dennis Quaid. In fact, we were talking about him the other day. Dennis is actually one of my favorite actors, and he's done a couple space ones and like that. He always does a great job.
Inner Space. That's what it was called. Inner
Space. Yeah,
that
was hysterical. That was a great one. That has the other comedian, that 𝗫 that is the guy that has them in him or something. That was hysterical. That was a great one. No, the one I'm talking about.
Let's get to this real quick, Juan, because I'm seeing, and here's my, first of all, I told you I got a massive download a few days ago in the morning before I could even wake up, open my eyes, formulate a thought. It was solar flare. Boom. That's just what hit me. And then look at all the stuff that's coming out in the last few days on just all the aurora lights, the solar flare activity. I just feel like that's going to be a card they play, or it's going to be real. I don't know. But the one thing I'm kind of worried about, I guess, when the dust starts settling is when Mr. T gets in and basically says, all right, mass deportation time, and says, we're going to go after the cartels now in Mexico. Juan, I see that could be a really bad move, because you'd have to have complete cooperation from the Mexican government, I would imagine, or it could turn into like a Vietnam. I mean, because I grew up on both sides of the border. I know these guys have tunneling systems. They know. I'm just saying that they know what they're doing. If you're going to go down there and take out the cartel bosses, how the hell do you really plan to do this? I mean, it's going to be an all-out war.
Actually, over the last 2 days, surprisingly, I had pretty intense phone calls with guys that are currently doing stuff in those areas that have long-term contracts with three-letter agencies. And we were discussing this. I don't think it goes the way that most people think of as far as a fight. The Mexican government actually, we have lots of levers to pull that, just like back at 𝗬𝗂𝗃𝗂𝗁𝗍, when he was killed, we shut down the border for trade. We slowed down everybody going over the trucks, everything. We can put the pressure on when we want to. We just haven't done it. And by the way, the more important border and the place that's
So in other
really,
words, make them fix it themselves, basically.
well, and by the way, the more important border is not the Mexican border. The more important border is the Guatemalan border, because it's a quarter the size.
Yeah.
It's much easier terrain to work in. There's only a few paths through. It's just not being controlled. The Mexican government and the Guatemalan government will cooperate in getting that sorted out very quickly. And then the real issue is, people think of a fight to get people to go back home. The reality is, we shut off the job market for people here that don't have proper documentation, which we do have the new ID coming out in 2025, the real ID. And then the other thing is, we'll create incentives for people to go home and provide assistance and stability back in their own country.
You mean the ones that have come here illegally, we'll give them incentives to go back?
The ones, a large percentage will want to go back. The ones that don't want to hang out will stand out like sore thumbs, more so every day. And they can go sit in a detention center as long as they want. They might not like it that much, but they can sit in a detention center for 5 years if they want to, while we work through the problems.
A lot of them are here because they're in fear for their lives, Juanito.
And that's why we're going to go do things to help take care of them at home. That was the conversations that we just had. And I can't really go into the details, but I can tell you that the players involved in the legal and corporate world are very, very serious, and in what they anticipate and intend to do as far as creating safe environments in those locations. And the demonstrator in large measure right now is El Salvador. They went in and just took everybody off the streets that was all part of the known gangs and incarcerated them all. And then they're
mega
slowly,
complexes, mega prisons. Have you seen these things? I'm sure you have.
yeah, it's
My audience should really look at this.
Well, and so the point is, after they did that in El Salvador, they went from, a couple killings a day to zero. Not
they went
zero
from a couple murders to zero.
Like none in a year. They were having murders every day, none in a year plus. And I don't know that that's exactly the solution, the way they did it.
Do you think we could see that here, Juanito?
It won't be quite that way. Part of the thing is this: people are envisioning that we're going on with life, we're driving around, we're doing all our stuff, and these people are moving around amongst us and staying out of sight. The reality is, if you stop this country down to a near complete stop, and just for a short period of time, anybody moving, they don't have a place. It's musical chairs. You stop the music, and where do they got to go hang out and hide out? They cluster together. Look, we got their data. We got their communications data every place they've been. They have no idea the complexity of our surveillance systems. They're so far beyond what most people can even comprehend. There's stuff that you haven't even heard of in the vault papers with Snowden and things like that we have. You'll be able to rope in the vast majority pretty quickly. Wow. And then get the country going back forward again. We got plenty of places to put them. Look, they were going to put guys like you and me
Oh wait, don't go
in,
there. Don't go there. Let's leave that for
places. All
yeah,
right.
we'll leave
Well, I
that for
mean,
the dot
it
TV.
goes both ways. It goes both
I know,
ways.
no, I know, but it's gonna backfire on them, and I understand that, Juanito. Folks, dot TV is where it's at. Nino's Corner dot TV is where it's at. We talk about all this and more. We'll get really deep into it. Juan, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna cut it here, man, because I know now it's getting to the touchy
Oh, you're
stuff.
just afraid. You're a fraidy cat that I'm going to
I
say
am.
something.
I
You're
am.
used to
I am.
Okay. I got an idea, and I want to do it. I dare you
Oh,
to try my idea, and all of your listeners. We're gonna do an experiment. I'll lay it out for you. Next couple of days. I'll finish
I
right
know
now.
what it is. You're gonna ask the questions.
Let's not give it away right now. Let me put it together precisely, and then we'll get all your listeners. We'll do a big experiment about freedom in America, and see how we defeat these systems in a way that makes it really hard for them to stop the conversation and where it's going. But we'll test them. Let's find out if we
All
have
right, let's
any.
put it to the test. I'll put your theory to
It
the
was a good
test.
idea, right? It's a good
It
idea.
is. You told me about it. I think it
Okay.
is, but I
So
still don't want to do it.
Let me put it together. We'll get people in there. Let's go have a little bit of fun. These guys, look, everybody has a plan till you smack them in the nose.
Well, hey, folks, go to
I
.tv.
love
That's where we have.
Everybody has a plan till you smack them in the nose.
They get hit in the face. Yeah. So go to .tv, folks. That's what we're talking about, interference and the whole thing. And this stuff's not going to stick for Mr. T. It's just not. So they're going to panic.
Have you ever interviewed Tyson on your
No,
show?
I haven't talked to
What
Tyson.
is this? Did you scare him too bad? He won't come on your show? What's the deal
I
with
haven't
Tyson?
talked to him. I haven't talked to him in
I want to go talk to him, and I want to ask him, why aren't you on Nino's show?
I'll get him on the show. I know the same people. I can call him.
I just do a show. Don't be freaking hiding, freaking under the sheets. Come on, Mike.
You know what? I'm gonna get a hold of him. I will.
Do a show with Nino.
I'll do it. I'll reach out to him. I know he changed his number. I had his number.
I actually, he's there was times where we all wondered if he was going to make it, and you just kind of were holding on, please,
I think he's enjoying life now more than ever.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Just like with you, Nino, you went through all of these different stages, and you're now pulling it all together.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of people that didn't make it, and then there's lots of people around you that thought you would never make it.
Oh, all my friends thought I wouldn't make it. And you know what? Some of those friends are even dead now. Okay,
so the reason I would love to hear him talk about his story.
Yeah.
Look at the country. A lot of people don't think we're going to make it as a country. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Of course we're going to make it. And I want to hear the guys that went through even the personal grind, all of the people around him. Look, how many people around Tyson that he thought were his friends betrayed him?
Everybody.
And he still made it, okay? And stole his money. We're ready to just toss him in the dumpster. And he's still here. And then he's an iconic figure. Look, I don't know that I would want to promote everything he's done in his life or something like that, but I think he's got an amazing story. And I'd love for you, who else would be better positioned to do that conversation? There's a lot of other people that might have had sports histories, but you had trials that in many ways are similar to his.
He and I were talking for about 2 months, man, like a lot, like a couple times a week. And then, I went a different direction. I signed with Main Events and I did some stuff, but Tyson came in to train with me. He watched me work out. Like he turned out, he was a really cool, I like Tyson. I like Tyson a lot. And so, you know what? I probably will try to reach out to him. I got to find the people that are around him right now. He changes his phone number like underwear, but.
Yeah, he's freaking hiding under the sheets, scared of the interview. Come on, Tyson, come out.
I'll reach out. I'm going to try to find him. I'll try to reach out to him. Folks, do you want to see that? I'll try to get Tyson on for an interview.
Yeah. Seriously, I want to hear the Tyson interview. I'm serious.
Well, I'll get it done. Juan, thank you. Folks, go to 𝗔𝗶𝗱𝗶𝗃, 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗃, 𝗦𝗶𝗶𝗃, right, Juan? .com.
Yeah. 𝗬𝗏𝗻𝗏.com. There's a bunch of cool stuff. The jackets and the coins like that, and she's got a sale there, and I can't even sing the song.
I know, yeah, don't do that. So go to the Jennifer Mack, folks, get it done. And Juanito, thank you. Go to .tv, folks, Nino'sCorner.tv. You'll love it. All right, we did a hell of a show there. All right, Juanito, thank you.
All right, bro.